Welcome everyone to today's workshop. And this is our second workshop. Did you guys participate in the beginner workshop before? Yeah, Liana, yes, no, really? It's your first time? And did you try the ProtoPie before, or is it totally first time you learn ProtoPie? Oh, cool. Because today we will continues on from what we learned about last time, but it will be a little difficult than last time. So if you don't understand some basic points, and I recommend you to watch the recording video of the beginner workshop. And Gina, my partner Gina, will she already shared the first workshop's link in the chat window. But no matter if even you don't understand some basic features, you can ask in the Q&A window. I will check Q&A window after we finish each demo, and I will answer the questions related to our demo first. And for other questions, I will leave them at the end of this workshop. So before we start today's workshop, let's quickly go through what we learned last time. So last time we introduced the conceptual model of ProtoPie and saying all interactions are composed of triggers, responses, and objects. So in ProtoPie, what we do is providing all those triggers and responses to you. And as a designer, you just need to combine them like a piece of Lego to create interactions. And during the beginner workshop, intermediate workshop, and advanced, those three workshops, we will cover all of those triggers and responses. And at the last workshop, we already learned those basic triggers and responses. We didn't go through them one by one. However, the concept and the logic, they are quite similar with each other. And when we learned those triggers and responses, we made those 5 demos together. If you still remember, we made some looping, learned how to make looping interactions, and learned how to show the slide menu and how to jump to another pages, like a click-through interactions. And also you can open a real link on your real device. And also you can make scroll and paging interactions. So those interactions are very basic for in the most common cases. And today we will learn more powerful, but also more difficult features, so such as chain, range, and condition, etc. And to understand these features, we will make a few demos together, like last time. So today we will make those 5 demos. First one is camera. So you can open your real camera on your device and also take a picture or switch your camera from the real to front or front to real. And also we will learn how to use chain. So as you can see, when I scroll my page, the navigation bar are also changing at the same time. And third one is range. So when I scrolling, the title will change. And then we will learn how to use your native keyboard to make typing interactions. The last one is we will make this typing interaction more complicated. Like users, you have to enter more than, let's say 6 or 8 characters. If not, something will happen. If you do it, then you can jump to the next page. Okay, so now please download the source file and we will make those 5 demos together. And even you joined the last workshop, and please also download the new source file because we add some new assets in it. Today we won't cover send and receive. It's our advanced workshop. So next week or two weeks later. 2 weeks later. Anyway, we will cover it in the advanced workshop. And after you open the link that Gina shared in the chat window, you will find a download button from the left side. Click it and you will get the PI file. Let me know when you download and open it in the chat window. Done. Okay, Ahmed done. Jonah done. Done. Cool. And for the people who already download the assets, the next things you need to prepare is connect your ProtoPie player with your ProtoPie Studio. So as you know, we have a ProtoPie player, right? And you can download it from Google Play or App Store to your mobile phone. And after you download it, you can use USB cable to connect it with your ProtoPie Studio. Or you can also click this device icon in the ProtoPie Studio, and you will see a QR code. So scan the QR code. You can also connect your phone with your studio. And let me know after you connect your phone with your studio. Connected, cool. Daniel is too fast. Magdalena connected. Jonathan also connected. All good, cool. Connected, done. Okay. Yeah, I forgot who mentioned when after you open your PI file, you can see I already grouping the interactions we learned and we made together in the beginner workshop. So today we won't use them. So I just want to for you guys to easier managing your PI file. So that's why I grouping them. So the way I grouping them, just multiple select them and use the shortcut Command G grouping. Yeah. If you have any problem like you cannot get arrow, please contact Gina. And Gina, let's say, can you share the PI file, or maybe you can ask for the email address and maybe you can share the PI file through the email address. Yeah. The missing font arrow is fine because I'm using our brand font. You can just ignore it or change it to the other font. Yeah. Cool. So today we will learn a lot of things. So I'd like to start right now. And if you have any questions about download or connect, please contact Gina. Please jump to the camera scene first. Yeah. So you can find several scenes and choose the camera scene. So first demo is make a camera interaction. In ProtoPie, when you want to make a camera interaction, what you need to do only one thing is add a camera layer. You can find it in the left up corner. Click this media, and then you will find camera layer. After imported, find this one, auto start in your property panel, and check it. That's all. Now let's try to click this run button and send the PI file to your ProtoPie player. So here is my, this is my phone. You can also see my phone. Let me refresh it. My internet is not good enough, so maybe it will take a little time. But in general, it should, if your network is fast or not too slow, it should be shown on your ProtoPie player immediately. Did you get that? Oh, now it's done. Can you see? Yeah. When I send this interaction to my phone, then my native camera is opening. So again, how did I do that? What I did just two steps. One is add a camera layer. Another one is check the auto start. And by the way, for the camera and some sensor aid interactions, you cannot preview it on your ProtoPie Studio. You have to test it on your ProtoPie player. That means on your real phone. So that's why we need to connect your phone with a Studio before we make this camera interaction. Cool. Now let's introduce some interaction pieces related to camera. So in ProtoPie, there are only one interaction pieces can be used for, not can be used, is related to camera interactions. The name of it is camera response. So in the camera response, you can take action, select action. One is start, one is stop. So stop means to take a picture, and the start means you can start open your camera, open your front camera or open your rear camera or switch your camera. So now let's finish this interaction together. This is a layer, and I'd like to address its size first, and then put this layer to the back of my whole screen. Because I want to see these buttons and make them touchable. I use the auto start, and then I ran it on my ProtoPie Studio. Then you can see my camera. This is my, here, this window is my, I'm mirroring my mobile phone. Okay. Cool. And if you don't have any permissions, is related to your phone settings. So maybe you need to go your settings page and give a permission to ProtoPie. Yeah. But if it doesn't work, we can help you to solve this problem. But maybe you can try on preview window first. So if when your camera is opening, you can see this wave animation, and when you stop it, there's nothing on your screen. Yeah. Okay. Now let's make the interaction. So two interactions I want to make here. One is when I tap this switch button, I want to switch my cameras. So we need to add a tap to this switch camera icon with one finger, and then the response should be the camera response. For the camera response, the object could only be the camera layers. So currently we only have camera layer, camera one layer. So that's why I need to select it, and then select the switch camera, this option. So this is the first interaction. And second interaction is when I tap this button in the middle, I call this shutter button. When I tap it, I won't take a picture. So now, same, I need to use the camera response, and the same, to select the camera layer. But this time the action should be stop. Now send it to your phone. so here you can switch your camera. Yeah, this is me. And then take a picture. When you try to refresh your ProtoPie player, you can use your 2 fingers and double tap on your phone screen, and then you can see this settings menu. Okay, let me quickly go through the Q&A window. If you have any questions related to how to make, please leave it in the Q&A window. Someone asked, can I use ProtoPie app with the ProtoPie Mac app? Can I use ProtoPie app with ProtoPie Mac app? What do you mean? Can I use ProtoPie app with ProtoPie? Sorry, I don't understand your question. Could you ask me again? Sorry. Someone asked, what is a signification of stop, please? So stop means the take a picture. You mean this one, right? Action stop. So stop means the take picture. And as you can see here, when I tap the stop, tap the shutter button, I give this camera action is stop. So now you can see I capture my screen, capture my camera. So that is a stop. And by the way, in ProtoPie, when you use this stop feature, it doesn't mean you really took a picture. So that's why you can't find this picture in your phone gallery. What ProtoPie did is just capture your screen. So it's a fake, actually, it's a fake. So that's why we didn't call this action is a take a picture. We just call it stop. So stop, camera stop work. That is how that's mean. Yeah. Could you explain the difference between start and stop? Start means you can open your camera. So currently we said we want to open my camera automatically when I jump to this page. So that's why I check this auto stop, right? However, in some cases, you only want to open your camera after you do something. Maybe when you tap a button, then you want to open your camera. So in that case, you have to use the tap and the camera and use this start. And when you use the start, you can choose which camera you want set it as a default camera. So that is a start. And stop is a take a picture. So it's really, the really means is a capture, but the interaction seems like a take a picture. Yeah. Cool. We finished our first demo camera. Sorry, we didn't finish it. We also have a sound effect, haven't used it. So here is a sound file. In ProtoPie, we support a lot of media formats. So here, click the media, you can find video and audios. So we support MP3, MP4, WAV, and other formats. And here, this is an MP3 file. And now what I want to do is when I tap this shutter button, I want play this audio. So what I need to do is add a playback. So if you want give any interactions to a media layer, you have to use playback. Like if you want to play it, or if you want to pause it or sync it to a specific time, you need to use playback. So playback, you can use it for video, audio, both are fine. And in this case, we need to use play, right? Because we want to play this sound effect. And that's all. And you can test it on your phone. If you can't you cannot hear the sounds, did you open your sound setting on your phone? Uh, Manuel asked, can you save the screen capture from the camera to use in another part of prototype? For example, you take a picture and the screen capture is shown in a small view rectangle. Yeah, good question, Manu. Not sure my pronunciation is correct. So what he want to do is after take a Photoshop, for example, I want to send this picture to this corner to my gallery. And what I can do is just give it scale changing of this camera layer. Where's my camera layer? Camera one layer. And the size, let's say, what this is 4040. So 4040. And also I need to move it to this place. But before we make movement, just let's only use the scale to test what will happen. And send it to your phone. As you can see, when I take a picture, when I take a picture, oh, sorry, I added in the wrong place. Tap the, sorry. This one is the tap it and then one is tap the switch button and then it will switch camera. And second one is when I tap this shutter button, the camera will start working as it should stop working and then play this effect, sound effect. And also the scale should be changed to 40 to 40. So can you see it? When it changes the size, it will be smaller. But currently the origin of my layer is the left up corner. So that's why it's moved to the corner. So what I need to do is change the origin to the center. Change the origin of this camera layer to the center. And then, can you see it? It take a picture and this, let me try it on my phone. So this is my picture. And now what you need to do, just give it movement to move it to this place. Did I answer your question? Cool. The media is a response to the trigger tap. Yes. So in this case is when I tap this take a photo, this one shutter button, then I want to hear this sound effect. So that's why the trigger is tap and the playback is the response. My sound only work once. Do I need to reset it or something similar? Ah, cool. So Daniel asked, now because we already play it, right? And after I tap it, it's play. So after it's a play, it won't go back to the start point automatically. So what you need to do is two ways. You can use reset. So reset this layer name is camera. Reset this audio, but give it a start delay because you need to play it first and then restart it. So give it time delay. This is one way. Or you can use another playback and this time seek it to 000. So both they are same thing. You can choose one. Yeah. Could the camera also start automatically when I open the screen? Yes, so that is why you should choose auto start. And by the way, when you want to open this camera automatically, when you jump to this scene, there are two ways. One way we already learned is check this auto start. Another way is use a start trigger. So start trigger means some interactions you want it happened before you do any triggers for it. That means you want something happen immediately after you jump to this scene. So that's its start. So you can use start with camera response with this start. So start camera action is start. This one is the same as when you check this auto start. They are same. They can help you to make same interaction. How do you put the for this question, I will answer you at the end of this workshop because it's the basic interactions we learned last time. Today we have a too many more important and more interesting, more difficult feature to learn. So I'd like to jump to our second demo. Cool. So second one, go to the onboard scene. This one, second one, onboard scene. Okay, so last time we already made together these paging interactions. So the way we made is we add a paging container and then put those three images into it. But however, you cannot see other two images currently. The reason why you cannot see it because you check this one, clip sublayers. So if you cancel it, then you can see another tool. So select the paging container and go to its property panel. Go to paging containers property panel and cancel the clip sublayers. Then you can see the whole contents in this container. Okay. And now what we want to do is when I scroll it, I want those navigations can be moved at the same time. In this case, we need to understand chain, this trigger, chain. But I'd like to go back to my deck and give you more explanation about chain. So the function of the chain is when when a particular property of an object changes, it will affect another property continuously at the same time. So in this case, the Y position of the red layer on the left is changing, right? It's a keep changing because I'm dragging it. You can see a tapping point on the red layer. I'm dragging it and it's moving. And wherever the Y position changes, it will affect the size of the blue layer. And this affection is happening continuously. Let's say if I drag this red layer slowly, then the scale changing will also be slowly. But if I drag it fast, the speed of the size changing also will be faster. And as I said, our ProtoPie have a unique conception model. Every time when you try to make an interactions in ProtoPie, you have to find out who is trigger, who is responses. So in this case, do you know who is trigger, who is response? Maybe you can, red is trigger, the red one is a trigger, Y position is trigger, red is, cool. The red is object, right? Layer is object, but the Y position changing is trigger. So actually you guys is mentioned the point is yes, you should find a trigger related to this red layer. But what? Which property? Let's say if I change the red layer's size, should the blue layer size also be changed? In this case, it's not. We don't know. So in this case, the trigger is Y positioning changing. And who is the response? The response is the size changing of the blue layer. Okay, so to help you to understand the logic of chain, I prepared this demo. So in this demo, as you can see, according to the position of my fingers, this panda's eyes, mouth, ears, their size and position are changing, right? So this is chain because my finger's position is keep influencing my other layer's property. Is a continuous process. And in this case, who is the trigger? So the trigger is not my finger, is my finger's position. Because my finger didn't change, but changing is my finger's position, X position, Y position. And who is response? So the response is not eye layers, eyes layers or ears layers. It should be the position of those layers or scale of those layers. So it should be a property of those layers. Same in this case, if my finger speed is reduced, then the, let's say, eyes movement will also be slower because my finger's position influence the other properties continuously. And now let's back to our demo we need to make this time. At this time, we will scroll those 3 pages. When I scroll it, the navigation dot will move. But as you can see here, this influence is also happened continuously, right? Is the dot is not quickly jump to the next position. The speed of this navigation duct is same as my scrolling speed. So this is a chain. In this case, the trigger is my scroll offset. It depends on which page I'm moving to, how much did I scroll. And the response is this navigation's X position. Okay, so for chain, when you understand why we should use chain or when we should use chain and what is chain, some keywords maybe you can remember it. First one is one property affect another property. So is something happened before properties, not happened before objects. It should be more details properties. Second one is those in fact are happening continuously. So if my triggers, my trigger speed changing, then my response speed will follow it. So this is a chain. Okay, now go back to our demo. We already know who is a trigger, right? In this case, we said is a scroll. But in ProtoPie first, you need to use a chain, and then you can set up the more details in the chain property here. So in this case, the trigger is a scroll. So we need to select the layer. Which layer made this scroll happen is this paging container. So we need to choose this paging container here, paging. And the property, the trigger's property should be scroll. It's not X. Please remember when you want to use chain for a scrolling or paging, the trigger's property here, you have to choose a scroll. And the response is this main indicator's movement. So is the X position will change. So that's why I need to add the move. This is a response. So again, chain's response, chain's property is this paging container scroll property. And the response is this layer's X Y position changing, so that means move response. And now this part is very important. Please pay attention. When you use chain, no matter you add scale or rotate or move, you will see the same UI, user interface. So they are mapping, as you can see here. Let me delete others. It's to show you a mapping. What we are mapping is the scroll offset of this paging with this movement of another layer. And here we have a 6 empty box, and we need to tap numbers here. And what this first row, this scroll mean? 0 means I didn't scroll anything. Before I scroll it, the scroll distance or scroll offset is 0, right? So that means when I stop in the at the first page. And when I scroll to the second page, I need to know the distance of my scroll. How do I know in this case? Because in this case, when I scroll to the second page, this distance are same with my screen, width of my screen. So you can find this here is a 375. This is my device size, 375. That means the distance of first layer and the second layer is same, is 375. And that means when I scroll from 0 to 375, this distance, this layer's position should change. And before I scroll it, this layer main indicator should stop at the current position. So the current position you can find here at on the top of your property panel. It's showing me is 0, 0. So that's why I tap the 0, 0. Now, when I move to the third page, that means when I scroll 375 this distance, the main indicator should move to the second indicator, this position. And how can I know its position? You can just select the second layer and check position here is 40, 0. Or you can press your option key on your desktop, then you can see the interval between each layers here. So it's also showing me is a 40. So first layer is 0, 0. Second layer is a 40, 0. Y position doesn't change. And the third one should be 80, 0, right? 0, 40, 80. And here, when I scroll to the second page, the position here should be 40, 0. Okay, we finished the first chain is from first page to second page. You can check it. So as I explained before, when you use chain, this trigger, that means if your trigger's speed is slower, then as you can see here, the navigation bar speed also be slower because we mapping them. We mapping the start value and end value together. For the middle values, ProtoPie will mapping them automatically. So that's why when I scroll to maybe 10, 20 or 125, ProtoPie will mapping it to this layer's position for you. Okay, now we finished first one. It's time to make second chain. So when you make second chain, you just need to click this plus button here below it. So you will create a range 2. And this time we need to make from page 2 to page 3. So page 2, when I scroll to the page 2, that means I already scrolled 375, right? It's like this one. And when I scroll to the third page, it should be 375 plus another 375. That is the third page's position. When I scroll to the third page, that is how much I scrolled. So it should be double. And same, when I scroll to the second page, this layer's position just as what we filled here above, 40, 0. And when I move to the third page, this indicator bar's position should be, we already said it before, 80, 0, right? And now it should work. So you can go to third page and go back to the first page. And there are more easier way to make this same interaction happen. It's just a little easier. So what I can do is just combine range 1 and range 2. As you can see, the middle, this value and this value, they are same. So how about I just ignore it, just typing the first page, scroll offside and the position of it, and also then just typing the third page, scroll offside. So it should be 750. Here is 80 and 0. After you made this range 3, you can delete the 2 ranges we made before. And as you can see, the interaction is same. So as I said, ProtoPie, when you use a chain in ProtoPie, you just need to know the start value and the end value. ProtoPie will mapping it for you for the middle values, mapping the middle value for you automatically. So in this case, we already know the ratio of the scroll distance and this layers, how to say, the movement distance, they are same. They always, when I move each 375, and this layer will move 40. So that's why I can just give the first value and the last value. Okay. Let me check your questions first. We haven't finished the chain. We finished chain, but we haven't finished this demo. Let me just quickly check. Is there any questions is related to this one in the Q&A window? Satabdi asks, how do we measure when the objects are smaller? For example, if there are peaking elements in the 3 lane. Sorry, I don't know what your question is for which step I'm talking about. You are talking about this one? We're talking about the panda, that's demo. Sorry, this one. How to measure when the objects are smaller? Why I should measure my object is smaller? There's no scale change in this demo. So sorry, sorry, stop the I didn't understand your question. Could you ask me again in another way? Sorry. Jonah asked, what if you want to loop the scroll? Good question. This one, it will take up time and a little complicated in ProtoPie. If you have time, I'd like to explain to you at the end of this workshop. Can you use variables in chains? You can, no, you cannot use it. Can you click on chain? Wanna see what is the object you are triggering? Yeah, you can check it here. Amanda asks, can you click, yeah, oh, sorry, let's say trigger is in the first. So you are asking, can I use chain? Let's say when I change to the second page and you want this picture or this navigation bar's size can be changed, right? If I understand correctly, then you can use scale. So scale is for change size. And the way to set it up is the same as the logic, how we did for movement. Okay, so yeah, there are two or more people are asking the infinite scroll. So I will answer you at the end of this workshop. The next one I want to make is, when I tap this navigation, I also want, I can jump to the page. For example, when I tap the first, tap the second one, I want it to scroll to the second page. And when I tap third one, it should scroll to the third page. How can I do that? So in this way, who is trigger? The trigger is tap, right? So tap whom? Who is my triggers? Tap triggers object is my, let's say, second indicator. Let's make it first. So when I tap it with my one finger, then I want this main indicators move, no, I want this to scroll to the second page. So the response is scroll. You can find the scroll response in the response list. And the object of my scroll, of course, it should be the paging container. And you want it scroll to where? You want it scroll to 375. So 375 is the second page. Second page is, how say, when you scroll to the 375, then you can see the second page. So that's why I need to tap 375 here. And now it should work. Again, when I tap the second indicator, as you can see, it can, the paging scroll is happened. And same for the third one. Tap it and give it a scroll, but this time it should scroll to 750. So tap second one, third one, and last one is I need to send it back to the first one. So tap first indicator and then scroll to the 0. And you can double tap your pieces, interaction triggers pieces, trigger pieces or response to rename them. So for example, tap first, this tap first. And this one is tap third. This one is tap second. Maybe you will have a question. I didn't make this main indicators movement. Why when I tap those 1, 2, 3 interaction indicators, this main indicator will also moved. So the reason why is because when I tap the indicator here, this scroll is happening. And also because we add this chain. So when the scroll chain changed, the main indicator also moved. So I don't need to make the movement for this main indicator when I tap another tool separately. I just need to scroll my pages and then this main indicators will move based on my chain trigger. Cool. This is chain, and next one is range. So we will use range to change my title. And what is range? Let me go back my deck. And sorry guys, we already took 50 minutes, and I think I will over maybe 20 or 30 minutes for this workshop. I got a lot of questions than what I imagined before. So, but don't worry, we already recording it. So you can check my recording, or if you have time, you can still remain this Zoom webinar. So let's take a look what is range. So range is another conditional trigger in ProtoPie, and it means that when an object's property, same, is also a property changing. When a property value enter or leaves a certain range, then a property will change. So in this case, for example, when the x position of this red layer is bigger than a specific value. For example, this line is 100, let's say 100. When its x position over 100, at that moment, its size will change. Okay, so this is range. And then maybe you have a question is what's the difference between chain and range? So if you attended our last workshop, maybe you already saw those, we did a game, do you remember? So I show you those two demos and ask you what the difference between them. So back then we said the right one, the left one, this one. When I scroll my page, this indicator is moving to the next position at the same time. So my paging distance is influenced my this indicator's position continuously. If I paging my if I select my page slower, then this dot will move slower. However, for the right one, it will move after I scroll to the next page. So that is the difference. First, left one is affect continuously, but right one is only affect at a specific moment. So the specific moment in this demo is when I scroll to the second page, maybe when my scroll distance is between 375 to maybe 340 or 390, and then this navigation dot should move to the next place. And this navigation bar speed, moving speed, it doesn't matter how fast I scroll. So that's why you can see in this case, if you want the left effect, you have to use chain in ProtoPie. But if you want the right one, you should use range trigger in ProtoPie. And to help you understand more, let's practice through a few cases. Can you guess which trigger I was used for the temperature bar and the number changing? You can see my temperature bar is changing and also my temperature is changing. Do you know what trigger I'm using for this case? Adam said chain. Someone said drag. Yes, I used the drag. Akula said formula. Also, my question is which trigger I'm used. So formula is not trigger in ProtoPie. Satabdi said range. Oh, several people said range. Okay. When I drag this bar, the height of this bar is changing, right? And as you can see, sometimes I drag it fast, but sometimes I drag it very slower. And based on my finger speed, based on this height changing speed, this temperature change speed also changed at the same time. My height values changing is influencing my temperature changes continuously. So the answer is chain. If I use range in this case, what will happen? The happening is this scroll, I'm using scroll for the temperature in this case. The temperature changing will not, the speed of it is not same as my finger's speed. maybe you can try it by yourself when you after this workshop. You can make a interaction. One use a chain, one use range. What the difference between them? I think you can understand the difference between two triggers very well. And let's check out this example. This example is more complicated than the first one. So as you can see, when I scroll the page, the text and the pictures will appear slower than my scrolling action. Can you see that? And in general, we call this kind of interactions is parallax. So in this case, do you know which trigger we used? Range. Okay, Charlie said range. Jonah said range. Someone said range. Cool. Range, correct. But we also use chain. So let me explain you. First, yes, we use the range because you guys already know when I scroll to a specific position, maybe when I scroll to the second section on this website, at that moment, the text should appear on my screen, move into my screen. And that movement speed, it doesn't relate to my scrolling speed, right? So that's part, yes, we use range to show the text or the images. However, after I show my text, I was keep scrolling my page. At that time, the text and the pictures are moving together with my scrolling. So that's part I use the chain. So in this case, you have to divide it to two micro interactions. One is show it, another one is move it. So show it, we use the range. And when we move it with my scrolling, that part we use a chain. I know is I think you need more time to distinguish them after this workshop. We just give you a way to distinguish. It's just a start, and you can do more practice by yourself. Okay, go back to this interaction. This time, I want to change this title. I cannot use chain for text changing. As you can see, there's no text response can be used below the chain trigger. Why? Why ProtoPie block this feature? Because in general, we are not animation tool. We are how to say we are not like After Effect. We cannot make those text morphing change to another text with a process. We only can do is change this text to another one immediately, just at once, at the short time. So that's in that case, I can use change because change has a process, right? When I scroll one, another one will move. We have a process. But for this time, the text changing, there's no process. So we need to use range. And first range is when I scroll to the second page, then this text will change. So the trigger of the range is this paging container. Same, you need to choose scroll because this paging container's X position doesn't change. It's only the scroll offset changes. So here I choose the paging scroll. When I scroll to 375, right? When I scroll to the 375, I want this text change. However, as you can see here, for range, there's no equal to this logic. They're only bigger, smaller, or in a range or out of a range. So what I should do? Can I use the first one? The answer is no. Why? Because if I set more over 375, that means it also works for when I scroll to the third page. Because third page scroll offset is also bigger than 375. So what should I do is, the perfect number should be 375, right? But I cannot use it So I'd like to give a range. So maybe -1 and +1. 375 +1 -1. So this range, including the 375, this perfect number in it. Why I -1 or +1? Actually, it doesn't matter. It's totally depend on designers. You can give a -2 or -5. Just make sure when you want to show, when you want to change this text, what's the condition you set here is totally depend on you. For users, it's difficult to distinguish when you set it to -1 or -2. Is very the difference is too slow, too little. So that's why I just use the -1, -2, -1 and +1. And when I scroll to this range, I want this text change. So that's why I use the text response. And what the contents it should change to is trigger. So just tap the contents you need here. Then as you can see, when I scroll to the second page, then the title changed. Now let's try by yourself. When we scroll to the third page, I want this text change from trigger to response. So what should I do? Okay, so now is give you answer. For the third page, same. Here it should be paging scroll. Yeah, another ranger. Yes. Use detect. Danny, Danny and Jonah, you guys are already your levels already jumped to the advanced workshop. In this workshop, you can make whole interactions I showed you before without using detect or variable or formulas. Let's use from some easier way. Yeah. So range this time is the same. When I scroll to the third page, the distance should be 750, right? However, I cannot set the equal to this condition with range. So that's why I give it -1 and +1. And this time the text should change to response. Okay, so now object trigger response. Trigger, trigger. It doesn't change back to the object. Why? Because we haven't add another range for the first page. So add another range. Range paging containers scroll property. And this time same. So the initial state, the first page scroll distance is 0 because I didn't scroll it. So it could be -1 and +1. And text response. It should be object. Now it works. Okay, we finish our second and third demo, but we already over 5 minutes. Do you have any questions about range? Okay. Now let's jump to the sign up. Let's jump to the sign up. Here I already prepared the the assets. First one, what we need to make is a typing interaction. Please pay attention, it's very fast. This demo I can finish in several seconds, a few seconds. Please pay attention. What I will do is only add input layer. That's all. As you can see, I can start typing, use my physical keyboard. That's all. How the way you make typing interaction, like say just typing text into ProtoPie, is very simple. Just add one input layer. Cool. Do you think it's too easy compared with the chain and range? But this interaction haven't finished because we need to adjust the design of it, right? Or placeholder. So let's select this input layer and jump to your property panel. Go through this property panel one by one. For those position rotation or opacity, we already learned it in the last workshop. So just skip it. Here, you can choose single line or multiple line. So if you choose a multi-line, what will happen? I can type multiple lines contents. And when you select the multi-line, this option, you will find auto height, this option appear. So if you choose a single line, you cannot find this option, but only when you choose the multi-line, then you can find auto height. If you check it, then as you can see, my height of my input layer will be expanded automatically. That is how auto highlight works. And also you can give it max height. So for example, 30 or 40. And when first time it will adjust the height automatically until the height is over 40. Then maybe 100. Why change to 100 is just to show you a bigger difference. So as you can see, I can extend my height, but after once is arrived the 100, this limitation, then my layers, the contents will disappear, right? So this is a multi-line. But for this example, we only made a sign-up page. So just a username or password. I like to keep it as a single line. And the text. So if you type anything here in the text, that means before you're typing anything, it's already have contents in your input layer. You can delete it. You can also edit it or add more characters or contents after those default text. But for this demo, I just leave it empty. Font, white, color, align, placeholder. So what is a placeholder? Placeholder is a hint. You can think it's a hint for your users. Currently it's show me input, but I'd like to change it to user name. I'm asking users, please type in your username here. And also you can give a radius, so maybe 5 or 10. This also depends on your design. Border, fill, shadow, pending. Here, we have a keyboard options when you choose when you set up input layer. You can only see these options in the input layer property panel. And here we have several types of your keyboard. URL, email, numbers. And based on what you choose here, the default native keyboard will show you difference. So if you only want user to type in numbers, then choose numbers. Let me quickly duplicate our input layer. So this second one, I give it, is not username, is a password. As you can see, when I can tap, oh, sorry, this should go back to not number text. I can tap text. However, when I type my text into the password, I don't want to show my password to others. So what I want to do is, I need to do is change it to password tab. Let's see what will happen when you change it to password. Oh, I changed it wrong. Select the password and change it to the text password. For the username, I will keep using the text tab. So here I can type in, but here you cannot see what I'm typing here. So that is a password tab. There are two tabs, tags or neighbors, numbers. So you can choose, it depends on what you need. If you are still connect your studio with your player, you can try it. So you can use your native keyboard on your phone and typing those contents. And here is a return. So return means this button, this enter and return button. So you can customize the label of it. So it could be go, next, send, or search, or done. On this page, let's say I'd like to use done. Username. I'd like to adjust size. Okay. Right. Cool. Yeah, that's how settings up. I forgot this one. Focus out. But later we will learn it later. I already made the basic interaction is typing. However, I want to make the UX, the typing UX better for more user friendly. What I can do is after user typing the username, they maybe tap this go button on their real phone. Or maybe in this case, I will tap the enter key on my physical keyboard. So when I tap it, I don't want this keyboard disappeared. I wanted my cursor could be focused into the password automatically. To make those happen, we can use some interactions related to typing. So there are three things you can use. One is focus, one is return, another one is focus, but this focus is response focus. This one is trigger. What is focus? So focus means first, you can only assign input layer to a focus trigger. When I focus my cursor into this username, for example, I want to give it the border a different color, maybe red one. As you can see, when I focus into it, I can give user a different design effect to let them know you are typing your username. So that is focus in. Focus out means you remove your cursor. Maybe let's say when I focus out from my, let me rename it. This one is a username. This one is password. Okay. When I focus out from my username, first, please reset my, oh, not reset. Please change back my border color to the current color. What the current color is. This one. Copy and paste the value here. As you can see, when I focus in, it's changed to red, and when I focus out, something happened. The color changed back. So that is focus in and focus to. So with this focus in and focus to, I can make the interaction what I said. So when I focus out, actually this is focus out, so I will just reuse it. When I focus out, first I want the border color change back. Another one is I want to focus into my password automatically. focus in password. So that is, you can see, when I tap my enter key, the cursor move to the next input layer automatically. And also we have a return. So what's return mean? Return means for your physics keyboard, that means when you tap the enter key, when you tap the enter key, that is a return trigger. And if you are testing it on your real device, that means when you tap this button, go or down button, when you tap this button, maybe you want to send user to another page or show an error message or do something. So that's when you tap it, it's also return trigger. So when I tap it, when I tap my enter key for my username, what you want to do? Same, I can also give this focus in to my password. So let me turn off the first focus. Let's turn off both of them. As you can see, Leah and enter key, same. It will jump to the next input layer. And what the difference between focus and return? For return, as I said, there's only one way to make it happen is tapping your enter key. But for focus, there are a lot of ways to focus in or focus out. One way is when you tap your enter key. For ProtoPie, it will automatically focus out. And another way is go back to this option. Do you remember this one? Focus out options. So you can tap this return key. If you check it, when I tap my enter key, the cursor still will stay at focus in. And also you can tap outside of your input layer. So there are two ways to make focus out. But for return, there only one way to make it happen. So focus out, there are two ways, and return is one way. So if you want to distinguish this logic for your use case, you can choose one of them. But I think in the most of cases, they are similar. Yeah. For this time, I'd like to use return. You can leave a focus, it depends on you. So return and focus in. Now we already introduced those three interaction pieces related to typing. And actually we have another trigger is related to typing, but it's not typing text, it's pressing your real keyboard. So this keyboard is your physical keyboard. So one is your physical keyboard, one is your Android device. First one, let's say keyboard. On your keyboard, there are a lot of keys. When you tap a specific key, what you want to happen? For example, you can use those direction keys to make a game. As a layer move right, light, up, down. So you can make a games. And if you are using Android phone, and when you send your Pi file to your player, you can use your physical key like volume up, back key, or volume down to do some to make some interactions. So this is press. It's not typing. It's press your physical keys. Okay. Do you have any questions about typing? We over a lot of time, maybe. Are you guys still there? Okay, good, thank you. Jeremy asked, can you show the focus on border again? Focus on? Focus in, you mean? This one? Focus in. And then the border color, you can change it to another color. Use border response. Okay. Now let's is our last demo. So last demo is use the same page, but I'd like to give it more, how to say, complicated interactions. I want to ask user, you have to type in the password more than let's say 6 characters. In this case, there are judgment. If it doesn't over 6 characters, then I would like to show a error message. If is over 6 characters, I want to change this sign, the assign in button to another color to tell users, yes, now you can click it and jump to the next page. So in ProtoPie, we have a condition. You can find the condition in the response list. Before we make this one, I would like to do a easier practice for condition. For example, when I tap my username, if your username is not ProtoPie, please do something. If it's ProtoPie, please do another thing. For this one is easier than the more than 6 character. We will learn it later. So the trigger, so when this judgment should starting. So the trigger is, for example, when I return it, when I tap the enter key for the username, at that moment, before I before I focus in, what I want to do is judgment. If my user's name text means the contents in this username, if it is equal to ProtoPie, then this time, please focus in. So what I did is just drag this piece below to the condition. So first, you can focus into password. This is the interaction you need to do. However, if the user's name contents, the text, is not equal to ProtoPie, you can find not equal, this one, not equal to ProtoPie, then what should happen? It depends on you. So maybe I would like say, show me another error message, maybe wrong username. Wrong username, and the color of it is red. But the default state of this wrong error message, the opacity should be 0, right? I cannot see it. Only when I tap not typing a ProtoPie, then please show me. So opacity of this layer. Let me change it, error message. The opacity of this error message to 100. So here you can read your condition. Let's say you, after a few days, you open this Pi file again, and you want to understand what kind of interactions you made. Then you can just read it. Okay, when I tap the return key for the username, if my username's contents is ProtoPie, then do something. If it's not equal to ProtoPie, do another thing. So you can find this logic. You can just read it. Now, as you can see, is not ProtoPie. So that's why it's showing me the wrong username. And when I tap the ProtoPie, it will jump to the next input layer. And at the same time, I want to, if I tap the right thing, I want to disappear, make my wrong error message disappear, right? So just give it opacity to 0. When my condition is equal to ProtoPie. So this one is to change it, go back to 0. This one is change it to 100. Okay. This is a condition. And for condition, there are a lot of conditions, right? And or. So if you want to use or condition, or if else this condition, you have to make uh, multiple conditions. But if you use and, for example, your text have to be ProtoPie and your password have to be a specific contents. Only in that case, you can jump to the next page. If you want to set up that you can use this one, the click this plus button and add another judgment for your password. So those condition 1 and condition 2, that means and. The logic between them is and. You have to satisfy to those two conditions, both of them, then something will happen. If you want to say, if the password is, if your username is ProtoPie or your username is Leah, then it should work. You can type in your password. In that case, you need to make two conditions, separate them. Okay, so this is the condition. And now let's go back to the demo I wanted to make. Is when I type in my password, I want this open 6 character, right? And when this judgment should happen, which moment? You decided. Maybe when I focus out from the password, or when I type in an enter key for the password. This time I'd like to use a focus out. And same, when I focus out, I want to give it condition. However, this time we are not judging the contents. We need to judge the length of the content. So how can I know the length of the contents? There's no this option. I already choose the password, but there's no property can let me to know the length of the text content. In this case, we maybe can find a solution by using formula. So let's choose formula first. But I don't know what kind of formula I need to use, and even I don't know how to use formula. In this case, you can just click this one, this formula icon. Can you see it? And when you tap it, you will see a typing bar or blank, and click this question mark. Then you will open our documentation to the formula page. So on this page, you will get some basic guide and some basic tutorials, how to make like this tab menu or spinner, change numbers, or ripple effect, use the formula functions. You can learn by this from those videos, but in this case, what we need now is click these functions, and then you will find this one. Calculate the number of the character in a text. So that is what we need, right? This is what we need. So let's see what this formula mean. So when I put a text into this length formula, it will help me to count how many characters of this text. So that's why hello is 5. So after this, oh, I know I need to use length this formula. And in this break case, I need to put the text, right? So go back to ProtoPie. And here I know I need to use length here. But what the text should be is not a specific, it's not a static text, because every time when I type in this password, the contents should be changed. How can I know that? So this time we still need to use formula. Remember, if you want to do something or judge something is a dynamic, when you want to use dynamic values or judge dynamic values, you first thing you need to do is try to find if there's a right formula I can use. So go back to the formula page. Let's try to find what can I do. So when I go to the layer properties, I can find this one. This, if I use this formula, I can know the text in a text layer or in a input layer. So what I need to do, just type in the layer names and give a doc and then give a text. Then I can know the text in it. So what I need to do is go back and type in the layer's name. So the layer's name is password, right? I can tap it one by one, typing it. However, I can just click this plus button and ProtoPie will show you the whole layers. So here I'd like to use a password, add a doc, and text. So we typing this formula. This formula is telling us, please let me know what I tapped in this for password text layer first. We use this formula. And then please let me know the length of it. If the length of it is over or equal to 6, then please change this button's background layer's color to maybe red. So that means now it is clickable. However, if it's not, if it's less than 6, then what I can, so create another condition and same, use a formula. Just try it again. So length and password text if the length of it is smaller than 6. Then what should I do? Maybe we can change this text. It's not a correct UX, I know, but just to save time, maybe I want to change this text to please type more than 6 characters. Show me this text. Okay, let's try. Now I tapped 1 or 2 characters. Then as you can see, it's show me the error message. But when I tap is over than 6, then this button will change to right. That is how we use the formula. Okay, do you have any questions about formula? I believe you will have a lot of questions about formula, but based on the basic concept of formula, do you have any question? Can I validate email with formula? Can you highlight the last text condition? So now, actually, for the typing or sign up or login page, there are a lot of judgment happen in general. Yes, in our common interactions. So you want to judge the length, or you want to judge if there are specific text or contents included in. So for example, did you include the email address, gmail.com, or does it include maybe, how to say, include specifics something? Anyway, so there are a lot of things you can do for the sign up page. And to make that, you always need to use formulas. So this formula to judgment the length Also, we have other formulas. You can find it like, for example, does it including the Gmail, for example. There are a lot of ways to do that. For example, you can use the right. So the extract a number of the letter from a text starting on the right. Yeah. So for example, in this one, hello, when you use write hello 3, that means the last three number, please let me know what the last three characters they are. And when we use email address, they are always same, right? gmail.com. And then what you need to do, just type in give the gmail.com or give your contents here, and then calculate gmail.com, how many characters. So maybe it's 9, and then type 9. And then ProtoPie will let you know, yes, the last 9 characters, what they are. And then use condition here. Let's say, use a condition, password, formula, right, of your password as password, username. I think username is better. Your username, text, right? Does it, the last 9, please let me know the last 9 characters. If the last 9 characters is equal to gmail.com, then you can jump to the next page, next one. If not, you cannot. So this is the Gmail. However, maybe you don't want to say gmail.com. You just want to say, did they, including this, how do you read it? At, did they, including this at? But this at is, I don't know how, what the, how to say, is the last 9 or last 10, I don't know. So what I can do is use this one, index of. So index of can tell you, let's say hello world, when the hello was the return to the position of it. So the hello world, this word is his position is a 6. So H is 0 and E is 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So after the 6, at the 6th position, you can find the word, this word. But we don't need to this number. What we need to know is, does it include the at? So if it doesn't include at, the ProtoPie will tell you the number is -1. If ProtoPie tell you -1, when you're using this variable, that means in the contents, it doesn't contain this short word or a character. If it show you another number, 0, 1, 6, 100, that means, yes, it's include that text and it's in what the position of it. So what you can do, just judgment exist or not exist, use does it equals to -1. If it equals to -1, that means no, there's no at this at. Okay, there are a lot of things you can make with a formula, but anyway, we today just over those 3-hour workshops, we cannot use go through whole formulas. If you have more questions when you make a specific interactions, please let us know, contact us. Now let's take a look what we learned today. We learned a lot. Oh, we didn't learn the sensor. Actually, we don't need to learn sensor because the sensor concept is the same as the chain. So sound, tilt, compass, or 3D touch, all of those 3, the concept of them is same as chain. For example, when I use sound, ProtoPie will judge my dashbell of my sound. You can see the same UI, right, mapping. So if my sound is between 40 decibel to 100 decibel, Then I want this layer's size or position could move to from 10 to 10 to 300 to 300. So this is just a number I randomly give, and then send it to your phone. Same, because those three are sensors, you cannot test them in your on your preview window. You have to send it to your player. Oh. And then, as you can see, if my sound is loud, then it moved to the other place. So this is a sound. And no matter you try to use a tilt, compass, or 3D touch, you can see any response you add below above them, they have same interactions. And the concept of them is same as chain. So yeah, even we didn't go through them one by one. However, you can learn how to use them after this workshop. Yeah, that is what we learned in the past two workshops. Are you proud of yourselves? Only 2 hours, or maybe 3 hours, almost 3 hours. You learned a lot of triggers and responses. And now what you can do, just combine those triggers and response to make your own interactions. Okay, so we complete our second workshop, intermediate workshop. And if you want to share your demos you made after this workshop, or based on what you learned from those workshops, if you want to share them, share your demo with us, we have an Instagram account. So you can share it on your Instagram, and don't forget to tag ProtoPie. Yeah. Okay. Sorry guys, it's over 43, 43 minutes. Yeah, I will remain in this room and go through whole questions you guys ask in the Q&A window. And before that, I have to say the questions the interactions you guys want to make, you ask in the Q&A window, they are not easy to make. It will take some time, so I will answer you, but you can just look at the recording videos later. You don't have to be remain here. Yeah. Yes, the recording video will be in YouTube. Okay, let me go through your questions one by one. Go back to ProtoPie. Let's go to the first question. How do you put the picture on center? I think, yeah, you are asking this one. When I tap this shutter button, I already make the size is 40 to 40. Now just give it move and move to this place. So this place is a 76 and 708. So 76, 708. And don't forget to assign the object. Who should move? So the object is this camera layer. And this move, I want this happen after my scale change. So take a picture and move. Maybe give a more delay. Take a picture and move. But on my preview window, I can't really take a picture. So that's why you cannot see something I captured. But you can try this on your real phone. Oh, after taking a photo, can we still keep the camera? You mean you want to open it again, right? So for example, in this case, I already take a picture and it moved to the corner. However, I want to take a second picture. What should I do? In this case, because your camera layer 1 already moved to here, you cannot open it. If you start open it, then your photo will be only captured in this square. So what you need to do is add another camera layer. Let's call this camera 2, and same size, but is behind of the camera 1. So take a picture. Camera 1 is being smaller, but you can see the camera 2. And let me open the camera 2, auto start. Can you see that? So when I take a picture, camera 1 is moved to the corner and the camera 2 is starting work. So Danny, this is the answer for you. So top D asks, how do we measure when the objects are smaller? If there are peaking element in the swim lane. When it's smaller? Element in this. I think, I tried to answer this question, but I didn't understand your question, so I ask you to ask it again, right? So let me check. Did you ask it again? Yeah, loop. Several people ask how to loop. Loop. So here we go to the third page. And now what you want to do is when I scroll it again, I want this cloud object could be show again, right? Let me remove other steps. Just leave very simple interaction. Oh, let's say only this part. Now what you need to do is, after I scroll to the third one, you want to show the first one. So what I need to do is first add the first, this one, image, object, copy and paste it, and move it to the, as a first image. 14. Yeah, now it's 14. So this is the first one. So what you can know is, yes, I can move to the first one, but I cannot send it to the center. The reason why is in ProtoPie doesn't know you have a empty space. And that space also need to be scrolled into the screen. So what I need to do, just add a layer here to take this place and then set it as opacity is 0. So I cannot see it, but I just want to let ProtoPie know, there's space, you need to scroll it into your screen. And then put it into my paging container. So now, now it's correct. Okay. At this moment, I want ProtoPie to scroll to the first page immediately. Users cannot know what happened, but actually, when I scroll to the first image, at that moment, I want my can scroll to the 0 immediately. So what I need to do is use range. When I scroll to the first page, so first page is 375, 3 times of it, and minus it, 375, 3 times, and this time is +1. So this range is here, second, third, this one. When I stop here, the range score is in this area, in this range. At that moment, I want to scroll my pages to 0 without duration. I want it happened immediately. Let's try. First page, second page, third page, first page, second page, third page, first page, and at that moment, first page, currently you are saying first page. Let me give a difference, maybe, how to say, add a layer. I just want to help you to distinguish what the is the first page was first page. Let's give a text. So if when you see this text, that means you are seeing the first page. Here's my first page, and then I move it to my this copy. Okay. So now it's first, second, third. As you can see here, it still show you the first page. However, when is first page jump into the center of my screen, at that moment, first page is we scroll to the first page. Something just happened in a very short time. But without this text, actually for users, they cannot distinguish which is the first page or for a first page. So what you need to do infinite scroll is add your first image again after your last image, and then give it a range with a scroll. That's all. Okay. Can you use the variables in chain? I said no. Can you click on chain? Yes, I did. Can you do an infinite scroll? Yes. Is there a what generic way to do this? Like one comment that applies to all three dashes. What do you mean? I already forgot. Your question is for my which demo. Are you still there, Joanna? Let me check. You are still there. Sorry, I forgot this question you are asking for which demo. Please let me know later. Why do you add another range and not simply add another response inside the first range? I think you are asking these three ranges, right? Because the numbers here, they are different. And I cannot add more range in this property. So that's why I have to add more ranges. One range for third page, one for second page. Yeah. How do you make an arrow for the input fields? I already did it. So I think I answered you. Okay, guys, so I need too many cameras. Yes, you need to a lot of many camera layers. With the camera screen, is there a way you can keep taking pictures? Yeah, keep adding more camera layers, then you can keep taking pictures. Yeah, I think I answered whole questions in the Q&A window. And if you still have any questions, I will remain here in 5 minutes more. So yeah, I did a workshop for 2 hours for 5 minutes more. And if you have any questions, please leave them here. Anything you want to know. When I keep adding cameras, photos are not being captured. Then you should check. When you take photos, you should check the camera response. For the second tap, when you tap it second time, the response should be camera 2, right? There are two. So if you want to take 10 times pictures, you need to add 10 cameras and give them different objects. So check your objects. Okay. We were doing the tap command on the, oh yeah, sorry, let me answer the Gemini question first. It's related to the camera. Yes, I tap the same button for two different cameras. So in this case, what I did is the camera 2, first time is not auto start. It's just close. I haven't started. And when I tap this button first time, I want to take a picture for camera 1. And this time I want to take a picture. I want to start my camera 2, right? Let me try. I haven't tried it. And then at this time, maybe you can use condition. So for example, when my camera layer's position is not, is in the 76, then when I tap the same button, I want a camera 2 can take a picture or start working or take a picture. So maybe you can use a condition. I think condition is a better way. Forget about what I said about cancel auto start. Just use a condition. If my first camera layers, some properties you will change it, right? Because you will take a second picture, and at that time your first camera layer position, size will change, and you can use them as a condition. It's not a smart way, but it's the only way you can do for the interactions you required. We were doing the tap command. Yes, okay. We were doing the tap command on the dashes. Tap command on the dashes. So when you click on the dash, the scroll movement to the correct responded page, but we were repeating the same command to every dash. I was wondering if there are I think you are talking about this one, right? This one. When I doing the tab comment, so the dishes you mean this 3 bars, right? When I tap them, the scroll movement to the is a repeating. Yes, it's a repeating thing. Is there a smart way? Smart way. Mm. Is a harder way. Is a more difficult way, as you said, is a use a variable or detect or something. But I don't think it's more smart way, because this way is you don't need any coding knowledge. You can also make them, right? But when you trying to figure it out in with a variable or detect or formulas, I think you will make the things more complicated. And one day when you go back to your Pi file, it's not easy to figure out your logic you used here before. For the detect or variables or formulas, I think you can use them to make same interactions. So as I mentioned in the last workshop, in ProtoPie, there are a lot of ways to make one same interactions. So they're not all, in most cases, there are a lot of several ways to make a same interaction. There's no correct way, just the way you prefer. If you, yeah, the answer is no, sorry, there's no more smart way. uh, Dash with numbers. Yeah, it's possible. I think in ProtoPie, the most interactions like chain or range, actually you can use the variable and detect instead of use range and the chain, because the variable or detect is a high level features. If you can use them very well, maybe you don't need to use chain and range, but that's what is not fit for most of users. Not everyone want to use a coding way to do one simple interaction. So yeah. Mm, let's using like using formulas, for example. Yeah, yeah, okay, answered you. Uh, yeah, okay, guys. There's no more answers, and actually, the contents I prepared was not that difficult. But I know when I talk about formula, in ProtoPie there are too many formulas, and you can make too many things in ProtoPie. So that's why when I say one, when I introduce one formula, of course you guys maybe come up with other interactions, how to make this, how to make that with variables or with chain or range. It's normal and I can understand, but just I want to say that today's contents is not that difficult. That's why we have advanced workshop. In the next workshop, we will learn variable, more formulas, component, and how to make interactions between components, how to send message from components to a scene, how to do more complicated things. So to do today's workshop, I hope you can understand them. And if you have any questions, you can go to the Learn page and click the Ask Leah. Oh, we have Ask Leah here. We have a Ask Leah question, so I can help you before the next workshop related to anything you want to ask related to this intermediate workshop. For the next workshop, uh, I guess we will over maybe 1 hour or two. Okay, guys, it's too late. I'd like to goodbye to you guys. Uh, yeah, thank you guys, Joanna, Jeremy, thank you, and thank you my partner Gina. Gina also didn't think about we will over 1 hour. Thank you, Gina. Yeah, bye bye.